But stewardship is clearly emerging in a project that we are running, that I launched as a Minister of Cohesion, Territorial Cohesion, and now implementing in the whole of the country. We pick down the areas of the country where the quality of services, education, health and social security, and access to railway station mobility are particularly bad. It came out in a large area of the country, and then we are 20 million people, about 60% of the territory. And now we are pushing for the creation of coalitions of municipalities that are getting allied in designing a project, a strategy first of all. These are areas of about 1,000, 5,000, up to 30, 40,000 inhabitants. These are areas where there is no labor and no good services, and the state has failed to deliver them. Some have actually good education, so there are plus and minuses. And the way we're going about is by putting the coalitions of public officials together, but also making sure that citizens have a chance to speak. And if there is some shared views, and if there is some shared action among the citizens, we want it to emerge. And in order to do so, you have to go on the field. So what we do, we bring a funny bunch of administrators from Rome, rather than usual, because we generally sit in this town. So people from the Education Ministry, from the Health Ministry, from the Agricultural Ministry, we go on a bus, and we go to these areas, these candidate areas. We sit down, spend 4 hours with them, and discuss the issues. We have the numbers, so we want to be sure that we are not talking rubbish, but they know the facts, and they come up, and in about an hour, the initial situations of these are the guys from Rome, we want to fetch the money, disappears, and we start talking about the problems. And this is where the ideas, what I call the moral and cognitive competence of the people emerge. Because often some of these people do know more than the public officials. But since we talk about facts and quality of life, it is not about money or administrative affairs, it gives a chance to them to emerge. In one particular example, the project that has been submitted to us came out of a communally organized activity. People of different associations in Val Simeto in Sicily took the things in their hands because nothing was happening. And they picked down some issues that could be tackled. They went to the mayors and said, we have an idea. And the mayor said, it looks good. And they came up to us, and we thought it was a very good idea, so we met them about a month ago, and we're moving ahead. So this is, I would say, it started communally. Well, it means that when citizens in the quite weird era in which we are going through, when citizens feel that they have both the moral competence and also the capacity, the knowledge, to play a role in the delivery and even in the design of public services, in the use of the land, in the use of what's around, in taking care of the quality of air, or the quality of education, basically they become candidate for stewarding the process in their areas. They do not deny the role of the state, they do not deny the role of private actors, of enterprises, but they say, wait a minute, where are we going? Here there are assets which are being unused, here there are opportunities which are being unexploited, and we have some ideas. So that's what is emerging, not just in Italy, but all over the places. In a sense, is a reaction to a double failure. The failure of the state to provide services designed, tailored to people and places. And the failure of the private sector when privatization became the big word in town to actually produce any results. Privatization turned out to be very ineffective and often very unjust. So the state is not capable, the private sector cannot do some things, it can do fantastic things in manufacturing and other areas, but it cannot adapt, it cannot take care of education, it cannot take care of social services, it often fails to do so. So people have felt compelled to come directly, but that's not easy. Stewardship is not an easy job, because as soon as you do that, you run into risks. Some people decide to do so, and then you have the emergence of an individual. So you have, leadership is important, but at the time it can push things into the wrong direction and break the communality. Plus, as soon as you have, as we know, that you have the classical tragedy of the common, as soon as you have a common commodity, then you have a problem of regulating the access to this commodity. So this is not it is not a clear path, but it is a path. Well, I cannot quote any specific project, although when I travel around the world to Mexico, to Argentina, when I read about the Philippines, for example, when I read about the amazing work that is being done there, in which the public sector has entrusted to the people the decisions of what should be improved. There was an old project at the same time, for example, in Mexico, in the land of Oaxaca. People were offered a group of 10 different areas of improvement. The garbage system, the quality of the housing, and people could choose what they want, what they consider a priority. This is already an amazing step ahead, and often people in projects like the one I mentioned become also part of the implementation. In Europe, I do see things happening. Things happening in different areas. The European Commission has sort of moderately said some words in this direction, too moderate for my taste. There is even something in the European Code of Conduct, for example, for the cohesion policy 2014-2020, where if you're really careful, at page 27, you can find the Commission saying we should not involve in the project only representative organizations, but relevant people, i.e. the people who are the beneficiaries. I'm using a lot this word because it's written on the regulation, but you need to know about it to use it. So I see opening up here and there, even in Brussels, which is rather, plethoric and bureaucratic. It's up to us to use it, to use this spaces. I've got big expectations. I set aside 3 days for Matera. It wasn't easy, I can tell you. On Saturday and Sundays I do my political activity, the rest of the week I do my ministerial activity, but I'm looking forward because I know and I expect to find there the people who are very different from me. I will probably find some other administrators, but I want to see the other side. I think at the moment we have similar ideas, but we speak different languages. And however beautiful the exchange on internet and Twitter, and my beloved Twitter is, 140 characters are not enough to understand your words, so we misunderstand each other a lot. So I'm expecting Matera to become a place maybe of conflict of ideas. I use conflict in a positive way, conflict of ideas, not of people. So I'm really looking forward to learn.